Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. I hope you're having a great Saturday evening. And, ladies and gentlemen, what they do is what Bill Maher does. And I used to love Bill Maher when I was on the left. And then I started to kind of move away from his show when I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. And one of the reasons, and Steve Bannon had a debate or discussion with Bill Maher, and one of the reasons was that there is the middle, the center, that Democrats need to prop up always. The center of the liberal world or paradigm is what Democrats want. They pretend to pander to people on the left, certain people on the far left. They then get Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer, and you have Hollywood celebrities, Robert De Niro. You have people that really run the show. Hollywood runs the Democratic Party. Well, I should say, Madam Secretary, Hillary and Bill run the political machine. But the political machine is catered by the I'm With Her crowd. The I'm With Her crowd is everyone from Robert De Niro to the CNN, MSNBC producers, Max Boot, Bill Kristol, who used to be Republican. Once the Trump, they say, will Trumpism last beyond Trump? I hope it does, because Trumpism or Trump politics, or the populist message in the on the Republican side is anti-intervention. That's why Rand Paul is so popular. That's one of the biggest reasons President Trump won. But you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where Bill Maher has to prop up the nice, doughy, gushy middle of the Democratic Party. The liberal, I'm With Her crowd now has the former Bush-era Republicans who love interventions like Max Boot and Bill Kristol. And they have the Hollywood producers / CNN, MSNBC, director, producers, journalists, and the Washington Post and New York Times, and basically everybody on Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account, but Twitter and Facebook, social media is geared towards the Democratic Party. You have people who run the show. Madam Secretary and Bill Clinton run this political machine. Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. But the Bernie Sanders voters, the Jill Stein voters, the far left, the people who obsess over climate change. The biggest threat this world faces is the threat of nuclear confrontation. Even Stephen Hawking stated that. Noam Chomsky, Stephen Hawking. You can pick anybody who is brilliant and, to the left of center, or a scientist. The biggest threat the world faces is nuclear annihilation, not climate change. Climate change, they say, is second. Always nuclear confrontation first. Guess who pushed another Cold War with Russia? Oh, that's right, Democrats, because they lost. They fabricated and set up everything. So instead of Bill Maher admitting that Trump was set up, instead of Bill Maher admitting that Pelosi and James Comey and media and everyone in the past 3 years since Trump won, everyone on the left, from your favorite CNN and MSNBC pundit to people you don't know on Twitter, to Robert De Niro and everyone in Hollywood, to, everybody from Juicy Schmolier to Bill Maher, everyone on the left created this world around Trump, created this fantasy around Trump, that he was the reincarnation of Mussolini, the reincarnation of a despot. And the only thing Bill Maher could say when confronted with the fact that you have people within the United States government whether it was J. Edgar Hoover decades ago or James Comey today, you have people within the United States government. You have people within the United States government that would go after Bernie Sanders just like they would President Trump. Now, Hillary's going to be nominee. I wrote that in the Huffington Post. Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. That was in 2017. Holly Moore, thank you. Aria Lee, thank you. But Bill Maher could not accept what Steve Bannon was talking about. Steve Bannon basically said, look, there are people within the United States government that don't like Bernie Sanders and don't like Trump. Trump and Bernie Sanders, or Trump and Jill Stein, or Trump and anyone to the left of Hillary is an obstacle that needs to be obliterated. Basically an obstacle, a political obstacle, a political barrier or obstacle that needs to be addressed by these people. They will not allow President Trump to easily remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. They will not allow President Trump to just address the $400 billion trade deficit with China through tariffs. And you have record low unemployment, record low black and Latino unemployment, GDP on average far better than President Obama's, 6 million jobs created in 3 years. President Obama had 8.9 million in 8 years. Trump is on pace to shatter President Obama's job creation numbers. The stock market is up. 5 million people have been lifted out of poverty. The only thing that Bill Maher talks about during the discussion with Bannon was, well, the deficit's up. They never cared about deficits. I had a discussion with a family member. He said, well, Obama had to deal with the Great Recession. The recession technically ended in 2010. He had trillion-dollar deficits going into his second term, President Obama. Look it up. President Obama had trillion-dollar deficits and practically doubled the national debt. So, but Bill Maher says, well, the deficits. Okay. If the economy is growing, the deficit is not that big of an issue. If the economy is growing, the deficit is not that big of an issue. If the economy is not growing, okay, then the deficit's a big issue. But you had a tremendous debt increase under President Obama. They didn't care. And any critique of President Obama's, any critique of his economic policies, any critique, the recession. Oh, the recession. Oh, it's the recession. Yeah, the recession ended in 2010 officially. So, in 2009, you had a $1.4 trillion budget deficit under President Obama. Okay, that was the recession. Fine. $1.3 trillion budget deficit in 2010. Well, okay, you're still reeling from the recession. Fine. 2011, what's the excuse there? $1.3 trillion budget deficit. All right. 2012, $1.1 trillion budget deficit. So you're going to blame? I thought Bush started the bailouts. I thought we're supposed to give credit to President Obama for this economy. So with that logic, what about giving credit to Bush, the worst president of all time? And they call Bush and George W. the last Republicans. Thank God. Hopefully they'll be the last Republicans ever. The last Republicans who want to intervene and engage in monumental military interventions that change the course of American history, not for good. Then in 2013, you had $719 billion budget deficit, and then, he ended 2016, $585 billion budget deficit. Okay, fine. But the economy stunk. The economy was not growing. Then in 2019, you have a $960 billion budget deficit projected. we didn't even hit $1 trillion. I mean, I thought I read that Trump hit $1 trillion budget deficit. He hasn't hit $1 trillion. He hasn't hit $1 trillion, and they're already talking about budget deficits. Bimbo Dickens! Yes, predictable lives. I called it Friday night. Thank you, Bimbo Dickens. Thank you so very much. Hope all is well. Yeah, so it's like Trump hasn't even had budget deficits that hit $1 trillion. Okay? And so you have this issue where Democrats, they have to focus on some negative. Well, you can focus on the negative all you like. There are more positives in Trump's economy. But then Bill Maher said, see, he can't address Trump's economy, which is fantastic. He can't address the fact that they set up that James Comey did something that J. Edgar Hoover never did, which is basically set up and frame and investigate an incoming president, okay, with a dossier that his direct political rival purchased. So, real quick, again, President Obama had $1 trillion deficits. Trump did not, yet they're still harping on the deficit as if they're like these fiscally responsible people. Then, okay, Medicare for all, they're like, well, you don't have to pay your copay. Well, if it was, not everyone has the same plan. Not everyone has the same premium or copay. Not everyone, and it's 300+ million Americans. You're not talking about a European country. If it's a noble ideal, if it's feasible. If it's not feasible, a Mercatus study says it's not feasible, and I don't know how many bills that AOC and progressives, all 5 of them in Congress have pushed in the House. Why hasn't the House passed the Medicare for All bill? Because they're funneling votes back into the DNC, just like Bernie Sanders. But Bill Maher, he doesn't address Trump's economy in terms of the monumental, like the amazing accomplishments. He doesn't address the fact that James Comey went after Trump. He doesn't address the fact that impeachment was simply a way to oust the president aside from winning. He says, well, the Electoral College, it's rigged for Republicans. What? How is it rigged for Republicans? Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin have not voted for Republicans since the 80s. Go and look at 270 to Win. Great website. Michigan and Pennsylvania haven't voted for Republicans since 1988. Wisconsin hasn't voted for a Republican in the presidential election since 1984. So it's like, then Bloomberg, then you have Bannon saying, well, you have Michael Bloomberg, who's promised to put in billions of dollars, no matter who wins. All right, and I've been saying that Clinton is going to be the nominee in large part because the political machine runs on a legal form of graft. It benefits people to run for president within the Democratic Party. And if it didn't benefit people economically, you wouldn't get like 20, 30 different candidates. But also that's a charade just to pave the way for Clinton. But they outspent Trump 2-1 in 2016. They'll probably outspend Trump this year, but it's not going to be. Trump will win in large part because of what Bill Maher overlooked with Bannon. Bannon was talking about a great economy. He was talking about Trump getting set up. He was talking about how people within states that Clinton lost were ignored by Democrats. And you're going to see like more Mayor Pete Buttigieg candidates. The Bernie Sanders in 2016 was the closest he'll ever get to the presidency. When I was saying Bernie Sanders, that Clinton would lose to Trump and only Bernie could win for Democrats, that was the closest he would ever get. Because if you give any choice, and Clinton, if it's President Obama, if it's Donald Trump, if it's Bernie Sanders, you give a choice, and then Madam Secretary, whomever she's against, people will pick. But if you give 30 people who don't have a chance, okay, and then Bannon brought up, okay, they also rigged Iowa. It didn't even take the actual primary, the entire Democratic primary. It didn't even take the whole year for them to cheat. Right off the bat. In a way, I respect them because at least they're honest in their treachery. You know, in 2016, I was saying he was getting cheated. It wasn't fair. And then people at The Nation, that used to be a really left-wing publication, were saying, no, there was no cheating. What are you talking about? It's such conspiratorial ideas. Then the DNC emails came and confirmed that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. And then all the suspicions were confirmed. But it's like the barometer of where the liberal intelligentsia is at is the Bill Maher show. That's why they're always losing. There's now a 5-4 Supreme Court. President Trump's going to win again. He'll get a Supreme Court pick. Likely, I don't know if certainly, but possibly. Possibly. Okay. You have a Republican Senate. You have most state legislatures Republican. So, you know, it's like they're not looking at what's really going on. They're not looking at the Democratic Party. Then this is what really got me upset. Bill Maher was like, well, we've seen in history when people use language like Trump used for Comey. Trump has every right to call Comey whatever name he wants. And that's why I love President Trump's communication style. Can he go overboard? The only thing I would say is just don't, even if a woman, attacks him politically, do not go after this person. Don't just lay off the women in terms of politics, like tweets or whatever. But other than that, if Trump goes after Comey, that's exactly why you want that type of president, because he's not going to allow anyone to cheat him. He's not going to allow anyone to cheat him. That's the issue. That's the big issue. Rick Crespo, my favorite live stream. Thank you, Rick. Thanks for everything. Could have missed your answer. Thoughts on where Durham report goes? Is something going down? I think Durham's report, William Barr, Rick, I think after the election, there'll be the political will for indictments. I think after the election, there's going to be a political will for indictments. After the election, I think that what we've seen, ladies and gentlemen, is a slow, like an arm wrestling match. We've seen an arm wrestling match where Trump is basically like sometimes you see like those photos with like the one arm and then there's like 3 or 4 other arms trying to push that arm down. You're seeing an arm wrestling match where President Trump is going up against a whole lot of people. You're seeing an arm wrestling match where President Trump is basically battling a whole lot of people, and he's still winning. He's still winning. And when I said that Clinton could not win, in the Huffington Post, I said Clinton is unelectable. And when NPR quoted me, you can look, ladies and gentlemen, you can look at each one of my description sections and my pinned comments. When NPR quoted me, let's read the quote from NPR. And I said that Clinton is unelectable, will not win swing states. 538 said it's their emphatic prediction that Trump wouldn't be GOP nominee. But here, in 2015, and Clinton is unelectable due to negative favorability polls nationwide and within swing states, H.A. Goodman wrote on Huffington Post in October. That's the NPR quote. Then, and the title is 5 Statements on the Wrong Side of History. So they already believed that I was on the wrong side of history, or could be. So this is the actual article. Everyday smart folks make assertions about Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and issues of all sorts. Quote, our emphatic prediction is simply that Trump will not win the nomination. Opine Nate Silver at 538.com in August. And Clinton, quote, is unelectable due to negative favorability polls nationwide and within swing states. H.A. Goodman wrote on the Huffington Post in October. And it links to the article that I wrote in October 26th of 2016. So, and then they write, sometimes such sweeping pronouncements prove to be true, sometimes they are found to be folly. So, guess who was right? Guess who was right? So, but see, Democrats, what they do is they almost have to recreate their own reality. They have to recreate their own reality. Or they have to create, their own reality. So Bannon's talking about, hey, that whole thing, whether it's Bernie Sanders or Trump, it doesn't matter. And they're still going to try, they would try to cheat both of them. And you think that they wouldn't set up and frame Bernie Sanders had he won? Of course they would have. Of course they would have. They don't care if it's their side, technically. And then the only thing that Bill Maher could then, the rebuttal was, well, the way Trump speaks, he's very, the way he speaks is just horrible, it's just really horrible. It's just really, really horrible. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hold on one second. They say, well, they say, Trump, he speaks and he's gonna influence people. Well, how much venom and vitriol have you seen? How much venom and vitriol have you seen thrown at Trump's way? Remember what Madonna said? I can't even repeat what Madonna said. And you already had people who lost their minds, commit atrocities, who were on the left. That media never focuses on that. You have people fabricating crimes, you have people doing horrible things, but they can't look at the mirror and say, okay, you know what, maybe we're at fault as well, or maybe we're creating this atmosphere. They look at Trump, they go after Trump, they use the most vile language, the most venom, the most vitriol. They accuse him of things that he didn't do. They call him treasonous, even though they have no evidence, not only of any treasonous behavior, but they had definitely had no evidence of collusion. Every single day Trump is insulted. How many family members, how many friends, how many coworkers don't speak to Trump supporters? Because the left, many people, are completely and utterly I mean, the only word is to say unhinged to a certain extent. If you're not going to be friends with somebody because they're voting for Trump and the economy, there's record low unemployment, he signs the First Step Act and he wants to remove Americans from endless counterinsurgency conflicts, and your version of morality is I'm not going to speak to somebody that I've known for a while that I care about. I'm not going to be friends with the person. I'm going to judge this person. What right does the Clinton supporter of all people have to judge anybody? And they're going to do it to themselves. Look, when Clinton is the nominee, you better believe the left is going to eat itself up. And it's not going to be a healthy place. That's why I don't have social media. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Facebook. There are parody accounts, but of me, but I do not have a Twitter account. But see, Twitter is going to be a very unhealthy place because everything that I've said tell me that pretty much everything I've said in one way or another is happening. They cheated Bernie Sanders off the bat. It's now being swept under the rug. You want to know why they haven't proclaimed an absolute winner yet, even though obviously Bernie lost? Because they cheated him. Because Buttigieg is going to go on to New Hampshire, and Buttigieg is already tied or up in certain polls. Do you understand that Mayor Pete could defeat Bernie Sanders again? If Bernie can't win New Hampshire, he ain't going to even ever get close. This is why people are 4 years too late. You can't get on a moving train. That's why, if you try to jump on the bandwagon, with I've always been a Laker fan. So I love the Lakers. Okay, I'm not on any bandwagon at all. I love the Lakers. Always been a Laker fan. But grew up, I'm from Los Angeles. Love the Lakers. But with the NFL teams, I have a whole bunch of teams because I got those beanies. Basically like 75% off. It was pretty awesome. But anyway, but if you try to get on the bandwagon, jump on a moving train, it ain't gonna work. So now you have people, Bernie Sanders could win, Bernie Sanders could win, Bernie Sanders could win. They would never, they're doing it because they actually think the Democratic Party is fair. People truly believe that the Democratic Party, like Bill Maher truly believes that if Bernie Sanders wins or doesn't win, at the end of the day, the best candidate won in the Democratic Party. And he'll very likely back Hillary Clinton. And no matter what they say, if they try to say, well, Clinton's not going to win, she's unelectable, I was saying that 4 years ago. But see, they have no choice because is Biden electable? No. Will progressives vote for Mayor Pete, the ones who were Bernie Sanders voters? No, they were cheated in Iowa. And so maybe they'll vote for Mayor Pete, who knows? Actually, most Bernie Sanders voters will vote for any Democrat, but it's going to be Hillary Clinton. But Mayor Pete has issues in South Bend, Indiana. He's not the most amazing mayor. And if you look at his policies, he doesn't really defend his policies. Tulsi Gabbard basically, defund NASA. Hello, yes. Greatest. He was amazing. Eric H526. Hello, HA. Hello, everyone. Just woke up. Eric H526. Thank you. Hello. If you look at the Democratic Party, they're already cheating, but none of them is viable. Pete Buttigieg doesn't have national recognition. Nobody really knows what he's accomplished, and if you listen to him, he is a carbon copy of President Obama, a carbon copy of President Obama. Mayor Pete is a carbon copy of President Obama. If the country wanted a third Obama term, they would have voted Clinton. It's going to be Clinton versus Trump anyway, but Mayor Pete does not have the national recognition. Bloomberg is he knows he's not going to win. He's just there to just pump money into the DNC. Bernie Sanders is there to funnel, essentially, he's basically there to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. Biden is done. Warren has had a DNA test. She failed. So tell me who's going to win other than Clinton. Of course it's Clinton. Smooth Bandit! Lost a friend of 4 years because I criticized the Shampeachment. It's a cult mentality, I swear. Oh, yeah. And Smooth Bandit, the way I see it is kind of like there are people that there are individuals that are tremendous people that are good human beings. But at the end of the day, I wish that, certain people I've known that they didn't take it that seriously. But at the end of the day, you kind of understand, okay, well, if they're gonna not speak to you because of a political difference, then I don't know. It's not an issue with you, it's an issue with them. So Smooth Bandit, yeah, I mean, do you think I care if a friend of mine's voting for Hillary in 2020? I don't care. I actually want them to. It's kind of hilarious. You remember the old Fear Factor? Where they're doing it like, oh my God, I'm eating with Joe Rogan, the old Fear Factor, where they have to eat these insects and just nasty things and voting for Clinton in 2020 will be like watching all of these people who shouted and yelled at the top of their lungs for 3-4 years. Now they're going to have to, basically experience one of the Fear Factor, tests. It's unbelievable. Even Bill Maher was saying that Trump won this week. Trump is winning, and there's no way to stop the winning. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much Democrats. When you were actually thinking of Avenatti 2020 or Eric Swalwell 2020, when that was once a thing, okay? When people were actually saying that, Trump would be kicked out because he colluded with Russia after the first year, reality is not going to be pretty. Reality ain't going to be pretty if that's your vantage point. If that's your vantage point, reality ain't going to be pretty. So, only Trump could have done this. Rick Crespo, HIHRC is definitely running. What's her new strategy? Yes. Does she become as vicious as we know she is? She can't win with the 2016 strategy. Rick, thank you very much. Rick Crespo, thank you very much. Yes, I do agree with you. And I think that you've made a wonderful statement. I agree 100%. She's not going to, it ain't going to be the same strategy. In 2016, she never thought of being interviewed by Howard Stern. And then, everyone's, the media's like, oh, my God. Oh, Madam Secretary, that was a fantastic Howard Stern interview. When did you meet Bill? Oh, met Bill. And it was, nauseating. But the new Madam Secretary is going to be more of a kind of a hip, Rick Crespo. It's going to be a more relaxed, more confident, more, open, Madam Secretary. It's going. Oh my God! You're not going to believe the love they're going to give Madam Secretary. Oh my God! The golden muumuu will shine so bright. Oh my God! Did you see Hillary on The View for the 50th time this election cycle? It's almost election day, and she's been on The View 58 times. I love Hillary. She's the best. What a nice person. Please, America, vote for Madam Secretary. I mean, do you really want this orange monster? You know what words have done in history. You know what Trump and his supporters are capable of. You know. You don't want history to repeat itself. Sure, Clinton has said and done bad things, but look, she's been on her 13th Howard Stern interview. She was on Jimmy Kimmel for the 150th time. She's a funny person. She's a funny person. And then they're going to say that. They're going to say that. They're going to, oh, the hot sauce. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. You know. And it's going to be such a what you think right now when you say like, you know, you say like, no way, how could Clinton run again? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to pat myself on the back. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Maybe not. Maybe so. Who knows? But I was saying accurately that Clinton, first of all, NPR quoted me in 2016. NPR quoted me on 2016. That article's below. I accurately predicted 2016. I will accurately predict this election again. Clinton is going to run. And well, she'll be the nominee. She runs through the doors in the Milwaukee in the convention. She'll be the nominee. She'll lose again, but it will be lucrative. And Bill Maher, at the end of the day, will say, you know what? I don't like Clinton. I don't want to see Clinton. But if you don't vote for Clinton, you have a major problem. And it's going to be the shaming, marginalizing, ostracizing. You are going to be, you know, they're going to silence and they're going to try to marginalize anyone that doesn't support Madam Secretary on the left. Now, if you're a Trump supporter, you'll be immune to all of this. I don't care. I don't care what they do. I know that very well they're going to vote. They're going to have Clinton. I know very well that Clinton's going to be nominee. But see, there's going to be so much infighting. It's going to be so nasty that at the end of the day, the same thing but worse is going to happen. You'll have more people who sit out this election. You'll have more people sit out the Democrats are going to lose. It's just a matter of how they rebound from losing. So after the election, after November of this year, it'll be even more chaotic. Like, honestly, I don't know what. The only way Trump could lose is if, God forbid, something cataclysmic takes place. Other than that, Trump has won. So Clinton is going to be the nominee. She will lose again, but it'll be very lucrative. But see, you know, if Trump has won this week, right? He defeated the impeachment. He defeated the Mueller probe. The economy is great. You know, Paul Krugman said there would be a global recession. There's now a great economy. There's Brexit. You know, James Comey and Clapper and Bannon, they're basically on the run. You know, I mean, CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, The New York Times, they can't show any more outrage. It'll be very difficult for them to fabricate another calamity. You know, then Trump can actually say, hey, you know what? You're trying to interfere in the election. Awake Canadian! Saw Bannon on the Waters World talking about Hillary becoming nominee again. He is echoing your words. Yes, he is. Awake Canadian. I am over 2 years before, proceeding before, ahead of Bannon. Well over 2 years. Awake Canadian! I hope all is well. Thank you, Awake Canadian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, look. The way Madam Secretary works is that it's not that difficult to break the will of people on the left. What happens is you cheat Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders doesn't stick up for himself. Bernie Sanders doesn't say, hey, I was cheated. You cheated me. Oh, my God. Then you cheat him in Iowa with an app that was created by former Clinton campaign officials. Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, it's kind of funny. I was at the gym today, and I had someone videotape me. So I just did deadlifts with 225 pounds. Not heavy. I mean, it's somewhat heavy, but it's not like amazing. But it'll just be a fun video on H.A. Goodman's other channel, so you'll get to see me do deadlifts. I do 3 reps. Nothing special, but it's just something you might enjoy. Whatever. I was just at the gym. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll just take a video. Somebody has a very nice gentleman take a video of me, and I did 3 reps. It was 225. So one of these days I'll get to 3 plates. That'll be good. 315. So that'll be fun. Anyway, that'll be on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Tomorrow morning or so. Look. You're talking about a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where all of this is contrived. All of this is fabricated, completely and utterly fabricated. None of this is taking place in an organic sense. None of this is taking place. None of this is taking place with. Oh, I have Defunessa. I have a video. I think on my main channel. Yeah, where I do 10 reps, bench press of 225. Hold on, where is it? I'll show you right here. Okay, I called it the Clinton email workout. So here you go. Here's my two. Big Chris! Love you, buddy. Here's a beer on me. Thank you, Big Chris. Hillary 2020. Would love to see her lose again. We both would. Have a good one. Thank you, Big Chris. Be here, of course, on the live stream on election night, Big Chris. We will see history, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Thank you, Defund NASA. Thank you. It's going to be fun. Clinton's going to be the nominee. It's just a matter of how much they put everyone through. So that's the issue. It'll be how much they put everyone through. Right now, the spirit and the will of the average Bernie voter, it's tough now. They were cheated in Iowa, and there's really nothing that they could do about it, because Democrats are going to cheat Bernie again because he didn't stick up for himself. So what can you do? What can you do? And Big Chris and everyone else, he might lose New Hampshire. Jennifer Raymer! I was waiting for your live stream. Go, HA. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where I'm expecting, if you look at Mayor Pete, Jennifer, Chris, everybody, if you look at Mayor Pete, let's look at Mayor Pete again. Okay, so Mayor Pete, New Hampshire, poll. You're looking at all of these All these polls now are showing him up. These polls now show him up, and it's kind of hilarious that no. Every time I hit a CBS local, my live stream goes kaput. So I'm not doing that. I know better than to click a CBS local link. Where's that latest poll? There's one of these polls where they're tied. Hold on. Latest New Hampshire poll, Buttigieg looks competitive. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then what happens is when he wins New Hampshire, then they'll say he won Iowa, or they'll say he won Iowa right before New Hampshire. So, I mean, he's at 21% in New Hampshire. My God. This is perfect for them to cheat Bernie there. All they do is cheat. So it's like, what, like, what do people expect? They expect a fair primary? No, they're not going to get one. Not going to get one. They're not going to get one. They're not going to get one. They're not going to get one. This is a bizarre one. Sanders leads in New Hampshire or is tied with Biden? What? That's bizarre. Oh my God, that is so bizarre. Biden, of all people? Biden and Sanders tied in New Hampshire poll. Oh my, yeah, right. That is hilarious. And then Buttigieg is 14. They're tied at 19%. I don't see that's. But I don't think Biden's winning New Hampshire. I don't see Biden winning any primary now. I mean, like, he'll probably win some states. I don't know. He's going to basically he's not going to be he's not going to be nominee. Obviously Clinton will be. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm losing steam. I think I'm going to end the live stream, but thank you so very, very much. You've all been wonderful. Thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, be here tomorrow. I will have a live stream tomorrow, first thing tomorrow on this channel. And check out H.A. Goodman's other channel as well. Subscribe. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's yet another win for Trump. A big win for Trump. Give me your thoughts.